This video is part 5 in my series looking at statements and answers given by Sam Brown during the period of time while Kiely was missing and during the investigation. So if you haven't seen the previous videos, there is a playlist which is entitled Kiely Rodni Law Enforcement, I think. I will link that playlist below so that you can go and have a look at that. And that way, if you wanted to watch any of the other videos, you can. There are also videos of all the different law enforcement individuals broken down in terms of each person's statements back to back. So they're in that playlist as well. This is actually the second video for today, so if you haven't seen the first video that I put out today, I have started looking at the civil case between Kiely's family and Ryan Upchurch, and there is one video that I put out this morning which is starting to look at the documents side by side, as in the documents from David Robertson and Daniel Rodney alongside Ryan Upchurch's response to those. So that is also something that I've released today for people to look at, so go check it out. I am going to just briefly mention, this is going to be a one-off mention. I mentioned it in my video for the civil suit, but I might as well just mention it here. Come at me all you like. I am going to follow in the footsteps of Harsh Reality because he's a pretty decent dude. He actually did a GoFundMe because he was on holiday and his expensive camera equipment got broken. The insurance company refused to pay out, so he did a GoFundMe to help him replace that. I'm not doing a GoFundMe, but I am going to say that I have for a few months now been trying to save up to purchase a new iPad for the purpose of editing my videos. My old iPad basically exploded during the heat over summer, and I'm working on an itty-bitty old iPhone for all my editing. And working on the Ryan Upchurch documents, I've realised that just how challenging that is. So I'm just going to put it out there. Like I said, come at me if you like. I know that people have a thing about creators asking for any sort of help from their subscribers, but there is a link below for Buy Me a Coffee if you feel like you would like to support me in trying to raise enough money to buy myself a new iPad. There is also a super thanks button underneath the video that you can click on and give me a super thanks. So either of those would be greatly appreciated and help me to speed up the whole saving up process to get myself a quality iPad to basically make it possible for me to do these videos without so much stress and the challenges that come from working on a slightly old iPhone. Anyway, enough of that. Let's jump in and look at some more of what Sam Brown said.
Good afternoon, everybody. We're continuing our search. Nothing has slowed down. In fact, I believe we have about the same amount of searchers as we had yesterday, over 100 volunteers, as well as sworn staff, Cal OES, and all kinds of people. We remain in unified command. Our partners with the Placer County Sheriff's Office have been amazing. CHP has provided us with a lot of space, resources, experts in certain fields, Truckee Police Department. Everybody that's been here, including Cal Fire and other folks that you wouldn't even necessarily expect to be here, have been great partners and are giving different pieces of experience and expertise to help us sustain and keep this going.
I was just about to do my usual freeze frame thing while I talk, and then I went, nah, stuff it. For this video, instead of using freeze frames, I'm going to use photos of Kiely. Because the thing to me is that it seems that when Sam Brown speaks, his main concern is PR. He wants people to know what a good job they're doing. He's launched straight in to talking about how brilliant they are. He hasn't mentioned Kiely at all yet. It's all about we've got the same number of searches, we haven't slowed down. And look at all these agencies that are helping us out. They're all doing these different roles. These are the roles they're doing. And that means that we are just, we're so on top of all this because we're doing so much. But, what about we're determined to find Kiely? One simple sentence that could have started it all off.
To date, we have 4,500 man hours put into this search alone, which is astronomical in the period of time. We had an earlier meeting today with pretty much experts in the field within California, as well as people from Cal OES that oversee the entire search system for the state, and the law duty officers that answer within that to help us with mutual aid and things of that nature.
So here we go again with man hours. This is an astronomical 4,500 man hours. So it's important for us to know that they are apparently doing everything in their power in this search, and that they have already clocked up 4,500 man hours in the space of 3 or 4 days. Now, it's interesting here. He is talking about 2 different organisations, and the first one he mentions, and I didn't catch what he called them, so if you're from California and you caught what the names were, can you leave a comment below? But the first one he refers to as being experts in the field. And then the second one, it's obviously a pretty big organisation, and he mentions that they oversee the entire search system for the state. So he's saying that they've got the best of the best on Kiely's case. He's really, really pushing the whole idea that we've got the best technology, we've got the best people, we're doing the best we possibly can with this search. I can understand now why he was a little bit red-faced during that presser on the 22nd of August, because so much of what he has said throughout has been all about the PR, all about we're doing these things, look at us, we are so great, we are doing so much. So yeah, bit embarrassing for them when you spend 2 weeks bragging about how good you are at finding people. But it also begs the question, if they do have 2 of the top organisations within the state and staff from those top organisations involved with this search, why couldn't they find her?
We are still lacking clues, and so our searches are based off of probabilities of scenarios and different types of incidents. And so I would echo what my partner, Lieutenant Barnhart, had said, that we need information and we need clues. We need people to give us things, even if it's seemingly small. But we're going to continue our efforts, and I really want to thank the family. They've been pretty amazing. We're not coming forth with the answers that they're wanting, and we know that. That's hard for us. But the family has been amazing for us, and both mom and dad have been active players as well as the rest of the family, and trying to make sure we do the best we can for them. So thank you.
So he's saying here that they're lacking clues and they need information and they need clues. But I think if you look at the video that I did before this, where he is asking for teens to be brave, to come forward, and the terminology there, which suggests that they are aware of something bad happening. So I think, particularly given the context of what he had just said beforehand, that when he says we're lacking clues, that what he means is we're lacking clues as to where to search. So I think he's made it clear in previous speeches that they are aware of things happening at the party. They do have some knowledge of something happening. But in terms of knowing where to look, it seems that they have no clue. So to me, that sounds like they're trying to come up with scenarios based on the knowledge that they have with regards to the party and the things, whatever happened there, whatever it is that he referred to as, being so horrible, which, like I said, go back and watch the video before this and you'll hear all the different things that he says, which are somewhat concerning when added up together. I find it interesting the way he's thanking the family, because I don't know, to me, something about it just doesn't sit right. Is he saying that, well, thank you to Kylie's family because you're not pressuring us, even though we can't find her? Or I don't know, and perhaps someone can make a comment in the comment section if there is something that you interpret with that perhaps for you it feels slightly odd also.
Yes. Oh, yes,
Why
sir.
have some of the signs in town been changed to trash and debris and not with our information still? The little flashing orange signs, the fire department had put up and stuff. It used to say Kiely or description and stuff, and now it's saying bring your trash and debris to us instead.
I don't have an answer for you. The sheriff's office doesn't control the signs you're talking about, but we can surely inquire and ask. We've had lots of discussion about signage.
I actually found that to be a pretty pathetic response. It was a whatever kind of response. Oh, yeah, okay, so the signs have been changed back to what they normally are, but that's not our problem. We don't control that. Yeah, he's saying, oh, well, I can make inquiries, but he's like, I can make inquiries as to why that's happened. Why not make a commitment and say, look, I will contact whoever is responsible for those signs and see if we can have them changed back to mentioning that Kiely is missing. That would be the decent thing to do, not to just brush it off and go, well, yeah, whatevs, because that's pretty much what he was doing.
One thing I will throw out is that Code Red and Everbridge, they're the two alert systems. Most people within Nevada County and Placer County are aware of those systems. They're used for emergencies, fires, things of that nature, not typically with missing persons. Due to the struggles of trying to get certain messaging out and higher level messaging, we started releasing our Everbridge and Code Red messages today to include phone call, text message, and email. Some people may not have received it yet. It may take throughout the entire day to have that go out. Somewhat complex to send a message to, say, 100 or 300,000 people, and that will clog up the system. So it's done in a phased approach, but we're trying to compensate for some of those things that are lacking.
And there he goes again, straight back to the PR side of it. Yeah, okay, those signs are no longer there, and so people driving down the highway who perhaps aren't in the area aren't going to see those signs anymore. But hey, look at what we are doing. We're doing the Code Red and the Everbridge things, and we're just starting to push those out to people in the area. So it seems like, and he's saying, this will compensate for the failings, and I know there he is having another dig about the lack of the Amber Alert, and I gather that there was a bit of perhaps tension against CHP for them not doing an Amber Alert for Kiely. But at the same time, on one hand, he's talking about them pulling out all the stops for the search, and nothing is too hard in terms of the search. But then he turns around and is like, pretty much brushes off the fact that this sign is no longer being used, and says, but hey, look what we are doing. We're putting these digital things out, so it doesn't matter. Still no mention of Kiely's name.
We've even heard that maybe signs were being pulled down in certain areas of missing posters. Luckily, through the Code Red system and things like that, I don't have as much experience with Everbridge, but we have about an 80% enrollment for Nevada County. So out of our 100,000 residents, that message should hit about 80,000 residents, and could even be non-residents if they ended up registering for our system. So we're trying to compensate for some of those things.
Okay, so now he's saying that for those two different systems that he is putting in place, that people have to register for them, and it's only going to hit 80% of the population. Okay, so people driving down the highway who may possibly see a vehicle that is a silver Honda, they're the people that you want to target, aren't they? So you should be bending over backwards to make sure that those signs are changed back to showing that Kiely is missing. So once again, it's the PR thing. He's trying to make it sound brilliant, but when you really listen to what he's saying, only roughly 80% of the population are going to see the things that get pushed out on the Code Red and the Everbridge things. And that's only people who have registered. And people from the outside the area might get it if they registered. Well, what about the people from outside the area who don't know that it exists and are travelling in the area? They are your eyes on the ground. It just, to me, proves that the main goal for Sam Brown was PR. It was trying to make them look good. It was all political crap, basically.
I would just like to reemphasize, I think the reason that everybody is in this room right now is this is getting a lot of attention, and a lot of people are aware of it. The more messaging that we get out, we firmly believe is a better way to do business. But most people are aware, and we're trying to make sure that everybody's aware to the best of our tools. There is still business and things that have to go on in life, and some of those entities that aren't working in our system maybe aren't as aware of, hey, like, even though you have these responsibilities for debris or trash, that, hey, we could still use some of that help and things like that. But there are still other things that do need to go on. Our emphasis is in the search for Kiely, and we're putting that energy into it.
Okay, first of all, he says the reason everyone is in this room right now is this is getting a lot of attention. Shouldn't you be saying the reason everyone is in this room right now is because we want to find Kiely? The reason people are here is because there is a 16-year-old girl missing and we need to find her. But no, he's still talking about what's in place, and he's still talking about the attention that the case is getting and the things that his organisation are doing. And, you know, the implication here is that we're the ones that are doing all the good stuff here. And he just about says, oh, well, life goes on. When he talks about those signs, the way he is, like, well, you know, we still have to have business as usual in some areas. Business as usual shouldn't be having a sign on the highway saying, go and take your rubbish here, or whatever the sign was. How is that more important than a missing child? I think his argument there was pretty piss poor. Now, he finally did mention Kiely's name at the end of that little speech there. Our emphasis is in the search for Kiely, and we're putting our energy into it. It's taken him a whole heap of PR crap, wading through all that, to finally remember the fact that the whole point of it all is searching for Kiely. But even then, he's not talking about finding Kiely, he's talking about searching for Kiely. Our emphasis should be finding Kiely, not just searching for Kiely. And that's probably me just being too pernickety. But I just feel that so much of what he has said up to this point has all been about the PR. It's all been about, look at us, look how fantastic we are, look at what we are capable of. Because we can spend 19,000 man-hours searching for a missing child in her car, and then someone else can come in 35 minutes and find it.
Is there a specific area, geographic area, where the search is being conducted? I mean, we were talking about searching, but is there a specific location, or is it still pretty broad at this point?
Tough to answer. I mean, to truthfully answer, we have a point last seen and a point last known, and that's confirmed by digital evidence and individuals, and that's our focus. And so when we meet with all these experts in the field and we say, hey, here's our search, here's what we've done, here are the amount of hours and tracks and different things that are going into it, are we missing something? And the answer in the room is no.
Okay. He's saying we're asking, are we missing something? And the answer in the room is no. Yeah, you are missing something. You're missing Kiely. So he's basically said here that they were really focusing on the point last seen and the point last known. Those two locations are so close to the location where Kiely's vehicle was finally found. And here he is emphasising that that is ground zero for the search. And we've seen the flight paths. How many times did they fly over that reservoir? How many times did they have boats out on that reservoir over the location where her vehicle was later found? He is making it really clear that they were really, really focusing on that area, and that they strongly believed that they were doing everything in their power and that they weren't missing anything there. So how is it that her car was then later found in that exact same spot? So for those people who believe that Kiely's car went in on the night of the party, explain that.
So then you start to play out your scenarios of, is this a missing person who went off the road? Is this a traffic collision that occurred? Is this some sort of an abduction or even a violent crime or any of those types of scenarios? And then you have to start to think is, how does that search then get impacted by that? And the amount of time that's elapsed, somebody could cross into a different country, a different continent, all kinds of things could happen. And so to focus a search is complicated. So the reason we're constantly in front of the media, trying to do community meetings, trying to use Code Red, trying to work on things like the Amber Alert and things that people are really frustrated about. We just want the word out so that people are looking, and we're getting tips from all over the country. I don't know that any of those have panned out, but we're getting tips from all over the place. And we have other countries that are even asking and wanting to talk to the family. So there's support, I think, because people feel that they could be in this same situation themselves. We just want word out so that more eyes are out, because we don't have an exact spot to look for, and that is unusual, especially with a large object like a car.
Okay, so once again he doubles down with, we're doing so much to look for her. Although he doesn't even say that. He seems to forget what the goal is. But, you know, we're doing so much, we're so important, we're working so hard. But it's interesting that he then says that it is really unusual for them to not know where to search. So he has told us that they have thoroughly focused on the area where she was last seen, the area where she was last known. So area last known would be where the phone ping was. But that they haven't had any success. And he's saying that it is so unusual for them to not have this success and to not know where the vehicle is. Why is it unusual? Because in this region, many of these organisations that were searching for Kiely were some of the top organisations in the country. And you had some of the best equipment in the country. So they were actually justified in being baffled, because they should have been able to find Kiely's vehicle, given all the technology they had and given the experience of the people who were searching. Now I'm going to stop there because this is starting to get quite long yet again. So you know the deal. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, and please leave a comment below. What are your thoughts on what we've discussed in this particular video?